29th March 1943. The war has come to Norway's frozen north. Jan Baalsrud, a Norwegian commando, is fighting to survive. German patrol boats are moving fast for him, their search lights cutting through the dark fjord. The water is 32 degrees Fahrenheit. He keeps his body underwater as much as he can, moving silently, trying to get away. Every few seconds, he lifts his head for a quick breath, heart pounding behind him. His boat is burning. Flames light up the fjord, crackling and snapping as bullets hit the water. 11 men, his friends, are already gone, dead, captured, burned. He cannot stop. He cannot fall. This is the most unbelievable survival story of World War II, and you've probably never heard of it. German patrol vessels have sealed the mouth of the fjord, blocking escape. Machine guns rake the shoreline. Loudspeakers scream orders no one intends to obey. Maintain full alert and prepare. Baalsrud is still moving. It is day one of his desperate flight. He didn't know yet that he would need to survive 59 more days behind enemy lines. A rifle cracks. The bullet smashes through his left foot, shattering bone, tearing muscle. The impact nearly spins him underwater. Pain explodes, warmth flooding his boot, then Arctic cold swallowing it. Ahead of him, black water behind him. German soldiers spreading across the shoreline in formation. There is no cover, no time, no second attempt. He forces his body forward. Stroke, kick, breath stolen in short gasps. Every movement is agony. Every second could be the last. The water claws at him, tries to drag him down. He fights it, muscles burning, lungs screaming. Finally, he reaches the far rocks, the fjord's edge. Fingers claw into frozen stone. Blood mixes with icy water. He hauls himself onto solid ground, half drowned, bleeding, foot shattered alone. German boats circle, searching. The hunt has already begun. By sunrise, roadblocks will seal every exit. The Gestapo will question every household within miles. Notices will go up, offering rewards for information. Dogs will track the shoreline. And somewhere in the snow, a man with a shattered foot will try to outrun an occupation. He has no map, no safe house prepared, no medical help waiting, only mountains, only winter, only the knowledge that 11 men did not make it out of that fjord. If he stops moving, the story ends here. He begins to run. Earlier that night, they had been in their boat moving under cover of darkness with Jan Baalsrud, part of a small group sent on a high-risk sabotage mission against the Germans. But someone had leaked their identities. German patrols were closing in, silent and swift, hunting them through the night. Now alone, wounded, and with every shadow a threat, he had no choice but to run. He looks at his boot. Blood is filling it. His first real sense of the injury severity on day one. He pulls it off slowly, biting down on his sleeve to stop himself from crying out. The skin around his foot is already swelling. The bullet has crushed bone. The wound is deep, dark, wet, and it will not stop bleeding. Below the ridge, German trucks spread out like hunters forming a circle. Doors slam. Orders are shouted. Flashlights cut through the snow. They are not searching randomly. They are moving with purpose. They know he came this way. Balls presses himself flat against the frozen ground and begins pulling snow over his body with shaking hands. He covers his coat, his hair, his face. He leaves only a small space to breathe. Headlights sweep across the ridge. Boots crunch closer. One soldier climbs up slow and heavy, getting nearer. Baalsrud slows his breathing. If the snow moves with his chest, they will see it. If he coughs, he is finished. The soldier stops just meters away. Silence. Wind moving across the ridge. Baalsrud can hear the man adjusting his rifle strap. One more step and the soldier will see the faint red stain beneath the snow. The soldier turns, shouts something down the hill, and walks away. Baalsrud does not move for 5 full minutes. He has survived the first sweep, But dawn is coming and daylight will reveal everything. He didn't know yet that day 2 would bring new dangers and more hunters closing in. Day 2, morning. By sunrise, the entire region is locked down. Roadblocks cut off every main path. Patrol boats guard the fjord. Soldiers move from house to house asking the same question. Have you seen anyone? They already know 11 saboteurs are dead or captured. They want the 12th. They want him alive if possible. Interrogations can unlock networks, names, contacts, safe houses. One wounded man can destroy the entire resistance in the north. Baalsrud tries to walk. His foot collapses under him. Pain shoots up his leg so hard that his vision blurs. He nearly passes out in the snow. He cannot run like this. He cannot even walk far. And somewhere behind him, dogs are being prepared. He drags himself forward using rocks and tree trunks for support, leaving broken marks in the snow. Every meter feels like an hour. Every shadow looks like a uniform. By late afternoon, he sees smoke rising from a small farmhouse in the distance. It is a risk. Knocking on a door means trusting a stranger with your life. But staying outside means certain death by nightfall. He limps toward it. Inside that house is a decision that will change everything. And someone inside is about to risk their entire family for a man they have never met. He knocks once. The door opens slowly. A farmer stands there silent, studying him. The torn clothes, the swollen foot, the fear. In occupied Norway, helping a resistance fighter is not a small crime. It can mean prison. It can mean being sent away. It can mean never coming back. The farmer looks past Baalsrud, scanning the road behind him. No trucks, no uniforms. He steps aside. The door closes. Inside, the family works quickly. Curtains drawn, stove burning, whispered voices. They remove the boot. The smell hits first. Infection. The skin around the wound is already changing color. They clean it as best they can. But there is no doctor they can safely call. If German authorities hear about a gunshot wound, they will come immediately. The farmer listens at the window. In the distance, an engine to close. Headlights appear on the road. German patrol. They are checking houses now. Balls cannot move. He cannot even stand. The farmer looks at his wife. There is no time to think. They drag Balls into a storage shed behind the house, push him into a pile of firewood, and cover him with logs and a rough tarp. Boots pound on the front door. The patrol is here. Balls lies beneath the wood, barely able to breathe. Splinters press into his face. His injured foot throbs so violently he thinks it will give him away. Inside the house, German voices demand answers. How many people live here? Anyone else? Have you seen a wounded man? Silence stretches. The floorboard cracks. The soldier steps toward the back of the house, toward the shed. Balls closes his eyes. If the door opens, there is nowhere left to hide. If you enjoy history where danger and desperation collide, hit subscribe. The shed door handle moves once, twice. Balls feels the wood above him shift slightly as his body tightens without permission. His injured foot is pulsing so hard he is sure the sound alone will betray him. Outside, a German soldier says something sharp and impatient. The farmer answers calmly, too calmly. He opens the shed door. Cold air rushes in. Boots step inside. Balls stares into darkness beneath the pile of logs. He forces his breathing to slow, counting silently. 1 to 3. Another step closer. The soldier nudges the wood pile with his boot. A single log shifts off Baalsrud's shoulder and lands inches from his face. He does not move. If his chest rises too high, the tarp will lift. If he flinches, the game ends here. The soldier mutters something annoyed. He kicks the wood once more harder, then turns. Boots retreat. The shed door closes. But Baalsrud does not move. But not yet, because sometimes soldiers leave and sometimes they wait outside to see who exhales first. He lies there for nearly 10 minutes before the farmer returns and pulls the wood away. You cannot stay, the farmer whispers. And that is the truth. Because now the patrols are not random. They are focused. They know he is nearby. That night they move him again. It is still day 2, but the hours stretch into darkness. Each step more dangerous than the last. Not on the main road. Not through open fields. Through forest. Through waist-deep snow. The farmer supports one side of his body, while his teenage son supports the other. Every step leaves marks in the snow and every mark is a risk. Behind them in the distance, headlights sweep across the valley. German trucks. They are expanding the search. By morning, arrests begin in nearby villages. The Germans are no longer just asking questions. They are making examples. A fisherman is taken for failing to cooperate. A shopkeeper disappears after refusing to answer directly. Word spreads quickly. Helping the wounded subtour will bring consequences. Bowles hears this as he lies in another cabin, hidden beneath blankets near a stone hearth. His foot is worse. The skin around the wound has darkened. The smell is stronger. He looks at the faces around him. Ordinary people. People who did not sign up for sabotage missions. He tells them to leave him. He says he will go alone at dawn. No one answers. But no one agrees. Outside, dogs begin barking. Not village dogs. Hunting dogs. German patrol units have brought trackers. The men in the cabin exchange looks. The snow outside will not protect him anymore. It will guide them. Over the next 3 days, they pull him through the forest before Sunrise, each step slower than the last. This time, they do not try to make him walk. They build a sled from wood and rope. Rough but strong. They lay him on it and cover him with reindeer hides. 2 men pull. One walks behind, brushing over the tracks with pine branches. The cold intensifies as they climb into higher ground. The forest thins. The landscape opens into wide white plains where there is nowhere to hide. And that is when they hear it. Aircraft low, slow, scanning. The men freeze. There is no forest here, no shed, no wood pile, only snow. They drag the sled behind a shallow ridge and begin digging with bare hands. The snow is hard, packed. Their fingers bleed. They push Baalsrud into the shallow trench and cover him completely, leaving only a tiny air hole near his face. Do not move, one of them whispers. The engine sound grows louder. The plane passes once, then circles back. Baalsrud feels the weight of snow pressing against his chest. It is hard to breathe. The air is thin and cold. Above him, shadows pass. If the pilot sees disturbed snow, soldiers will come within minutes. The plane lowers closer, too close. The engine roar shakes the ground and then it flies past. But it does not leave. It circles again and this time something drops from beneath the wing. The object falls fast. Not a bomb. A flare. It hits the snowfield and erupts into blinding white light. The entire ridge is suddenly exposed. Every shadow erased. Every shape sharpened against the ice. The men pulling the sled throw themselves flat. One of them presses his face into the snow and whispers a prayer he has not said since childhood under the snow. Baalsrud sees the world turn bright red through his closed eyelids. If the pilot saw movement, ground troops will follow within minutes. The aircraft circles once more lower now, engine echoing. Across the valley, the flare burns violently, smoke rising straight into the frozen air. The snow around it melts slightly, creating a dark scar visible from above. The men do not move. They cannot. If they run, they confirm they are there. If they stay, they gamble everything on doubt. The plane makes one final pass. Then it turns and slowly the engine noise fades. No trucks arrive. No soldiers crest the ridge. When they pull him from the snow, his eyelashes are frozen together. He is shaking uncontrollably now, not just from cold, but from infection. His foot is worse, much worse. By day 7 of his flight, after 2 more grueling days on the sled, They reach a small mountain hut used by herders in summer. Inside, the air is stale and cold. No doctor, no medicine, just basic tools and fire. When they unwrap the bandage, no one speaks. Toes are black, not bruised, black. The infection is climbing. If it reaches the blood, he will die from fever long before reaching Sweden. If they take him to a hospital, German authorities will be notified. There is no safe solution, only a terrible one. Baalsrud understands before anyone says it. He asks for a knife. They heat the blade in the fire until it glows dull orange. Someone hands him a strip of leather to bite down on. Outside, the wind presses against the hut walls. Inside there is only breathing. And then he cuts his own toes off one by one to stop the rot from climbing his leg. The pain is beyond screaming. It is white, total. It erases language. One of the men has to hold his shoulders down while another steadies the leg. The smell of burned flesh fills the cabin. When it is over, 2 toes are gone. The wound is wrapped tightly. No one celebrates because they all know this is not the end of it. The infection may still spread and the Germans are still searching. From day 8 to day 12, they move from village to village and word spreads quietly ahead of them. Not through letters, not through the radio, through trust. Farmers prepare barns before the sled arrives. Fishermen leave lanterns and windows as signals. Women bake extra bread without asking questions. Each person who helps makes the same calculation. If caught, prison. If accused of aiding, sabotage, possibly deportation. But if they turn him away, he dies. And so the chain grows hand to hand, village to village. We understand. But the Germans notice something. No one is talking. Interrogations increase. One helper is arrested and another is beaten. A warning is delivered publicly in a town square. Anyone assisting the fugitive will face severe punishment. The message spreads as fast as the quiet support did. Now every knock on a door carries a new weight. And still doors open. After nearly a month on the run, halfway to the Swedish border, the weather turns violent. Wind screams across the plateau, erasing tracks within minutes. Snow whips sideways, cutting exposed skin like glass. Visibility drops to almost nothing. It is the kind of storm that can kill a healthy man. Bowles is not healthy. He drifts in and out of consciousness on the sled. Fever rises. He begins speaking to men who are not there. See you in the storm. Friends from the fjord who never made it to shore. Alone. The men pulling him argue. Keep pushing. If they stop moving, they may freeze. If they keep moving, they may walk off a ridge they cannot see. The wind intensifies. One of the men slips and nearly falls into a hidden drop in the terrain. They are blind now, and somewhere behind them, patrols are still operating. The storm may hide them or it may trap them. They make a decision. They keep moving because stopping guarantees nothing. By day 59, after the fjord explosion, the flare in the snowfield, and the knife in the mountain hut, they finally see it. A line of trees marking the edge of neutral territory. Sweden. It is close enough to feel real, close enough to lose. German patrols have increased near the border. There are rumors of checkpoints on certain crossings. If they choose the wrong path, they could walk directly into soldiers. Baalsrud is barely conscious now. His body is thin, fragile. More toes have been lost to frostbite along the way. They choose a high, isolated route. Harder, colder, safer. The final climb is slow. Every step feels like it might be the one that breaks them. Then, quietly, without ceremony, they cross. No gunfire, no shouts, just wind. Swedish authorities receive him and rush him for medical care. He weighs far less than when he left Britain. His body is damaged permanently, but he is alive. Jan Baalsrud survived the war. Several of the people who helped him faced arrest. Some were imprisoned. Some endured harsh interrogations. His story would later become one of Norway's most powerful wartime survival accounts. But survival was never just about one man outrunning soldiers. It was about ordinary people deciding again and again that fear would not control them. The Germans hunted a wounded saboteur. What they found was a country that refused to hand him over. And in the frozen north, that refusal was stronger than bullets, stronger than patrols, stronger than the winter itself. He jumped into the fjord with a shattered foot and no guarantee of tomorrow. Nearly 2 months later, carried by hands that risked everything, he finally crossed into safety. The Arctic tried to break him. The occupation tried to claim him. The hunt tried to erase him. And yet, against every frostbitten mile, every patrol, every moment of pain and despair, they could not finish the story. He had survived. But the story belonged to more than one man. It belonged to a country that refused to hand him over, to people who risked everything for a stranger, and to the human will that refuses to yield even when the world tries to crush it.